Katie Blanchard, Schroth Method physical therapist here. Today we are going to be talking about motivating your child to be invested in their Schroth exercises and the Schroth Method, and how to make the Schroth exercises a little bit more fun for them. So if you're on here live, please put in the comments the word live so that I know you're here. And if you're on the replay, please throw the word replay in the comments so that I know you're watching. And then if you have any questions throughout this short training, please put those in the comments as well so I can answer them live for you. Awesome. So we're going to talk about 4 different things here regarding motivation and getting your child to complete their Schroth Method exercises without it being a battle every single day. So first we're going to talk about tapping into your child's interests and goals. Then we're going to talk about making it fun. 3, we're going to talk about having a reward system. And 4, we're going to talk about having a community for them to be accountable with. Okay, so we have Diane on here live. Thank you for being here live, Diane. And so here we go. So first and foremost, the most important thing for me when having your kids do the Schroth Method and do their home exercise program for the Schroth Method is that they have to be invested in it themselves. They're not going to do these exercises every single day, once or twice a day, if their parents are just telling them, you need to do it because I say so. Okay, so they need to have a certain why for themselves of why they want to do the Schroth Method exercises, and that may be hard because not a lot of kids with scoliosis have pain, and that's the easy answer. You have pain in your back, so you need to do these exercises and that will solve it for you. And a lot of your kids don't have pain, are interested in other activities, and these exercises are, they're require a lot of focus and time. Okay, so we need to tap into their why. Is there something in their interests that we can connect the Schroth Method to? So for example, let's use sports. So sports, any sport that your child plays, we can connect that the Schroth Method will help them become better and stronger at their sport. And first, that's by improving posture, improving their ability to have cardiovascular health with our Schroth Method breathing, and with strength for their sport as well. So let's say basketball, for example. I played basketball in high school and college, so I love basketball, and I know I have a lot of patients who play basketball. So let's say your child loves everything basketball-wise, and all of a sudden they have scoliosis and they need to do all these Schroth exercises every single day. So let's talk about if I have scoliosis and one of my shoulders is slightly higher than the other, and I might tip my shoulder slightly forward, and I try to go and shoot a basketball in this position, I can only get my arm up so high, or if I jump up to get a rebound, I'm not going to be able to reach as far if I'm hunched forward and reaching this way compared to if I have better posture, more even shoulders, and I can use my muscles in a more balanced way to grab that rebound. Okay, so Schroth Method exercises are going to apply to any sport that your kiddo plays, whether that be something that's a bilateral sport, something that's a racket sport, single side. Improving their posture, improving their spine is only going to help with that sport. Second, if your child's not an athlete, they don't play any sports, maybe they do music. So let's take something that is meaningful to them and apply Schroth to it. So let's say, for example, we have a patient who plays the violin or the viola. I played the viola growing up. I love that instrument. It's great. So when we play those instruments, and this can probably apply to any instrument as well. Let me show you. Uh-oh. I don't want to end my live video. Great. So playing an instrument, let's say a string instrument. Okay, so I'm sitting, I have my violin here. What happens if I have my right shoulder always elevated and I'm hunched forward? It's going to be a lot harder to play that, and I'm going to look, it's not going to be a great performance if I'm hunched over compared to having shoulders high, elbows out, and I'm playing like this compared to like this. I'll be able to get more out of my instrument. Wind instruments, even better for Schroth. So we talk about Schroth breathing all the time. So expanding through the rib cage. That's going to help our patients who play wind instruments that involve blowing to expand, to get more air, more oomph into their notes so they can play longer notes. Okay? So connecting Schroth with a musical instrument or voice, you can project more if you can expand your rib cage and you have bigger breaths, and you can use both sides of the rib cage instead of with scoliosis having one side rather collapse. How can I expand that rib cage and project more if I have one side of my rib cage collapsed compared to it being nice and stacked and equal bilaterally? Okay? All right, so we covered sports, we covered music. What if my child doesn't do any of those things? Let's say they have a report for school, okay? And this report is very important to them. It's going to make or break them. They have to speak during class. They have to do a presentation. Let's use Schroth to help them recite their lines in their presentation, okay? So this can be a short-term thing. This can be a long-term thing. Let's say they have to recite something for a play or for a class, okay? So we're going to use our Schroth method breathing to help them project and speak louder to the class, okay? So, you may show them an example of, let's say, you're reciting a book or poetry to the class, and you have this sort of posture like this, okay? And you're saying your report, and maybe your child is timid and quiet, but we would like them to be louder so that everyone can hear them. So let's do our scoliosis corrections. Let's elongate, right? So sit up nice and tall. Imagine my feet going down into the ground, my head going up towards the sky. Elongate. I'm going to shift my rib cage so I'm more aligned. Okay, and that my rib cage is nice and expanded. And then we're going to practice during our Schroth exercises performing this line as we breathe out. Okay, so let's say we're doing the Schroth exercise where we sit, we have our left hand up high on the bars, and we're pulling down on the band. Actually, I can show you here too. Let me see if I can show you. So we'll go over to my bars here. Okay. We're going to set up my stool, and I'm going to sit on the stool, and I'm going to get a band here. I'm going to tie my band high on the bars. We've gone over this one in the group, so if you don't know it, look up in the group for T right, L left exercises. This one will come up in there. This is called the seated shoulder counter traction exercise, okay? So let's say I set up for this Schroth exercise, and I'm reciting my line, okay? So I'm going to have one arm high, one over my head. In this exercise, as I breathe out, I usually pull down like this, okay? So in through the nose, expand the rib cage, breathe out, and pull down, okay? But nice and slow. And so let's say I'm reciting to be or not to be, okay? That's the first line that comes to my mind, so we're going to use it. So I have my hand high, opening up this side of my body, and I'm going to breathe in, breathe out, and pull down. But say I want to recite that line for my class, and I want to nail it for my report in front of the class. I'm going to recite it as I breathe out and as I keep this position and expand. So I'm going to say in through the nose and breathe out. To be or not to be. So I keep myself expanded as I breathe down, and I stay stacked, and I'm projecting instead of being here, and being timid and saying to be or not to be. So I'm practicing here. Breathe in. Nice elongated position. To be or not to be. And I can breathe out, okay? So it's all about elongating and expanding as I perform this line for my play or for my presentation, okay? So I think those are a lot of good examples for you guys on how to apply Schroth to some of your child's interests, okay? If you have any more questions about that, let me know, or if you need help, applying some of your child's interests to the Schroth method, just let me know and I can, brainstorm some ideas for you, okay? So let's make it fun. Point number 2, we're going to make Schroth Method exercises more fun, because I know sometimes doing all this breathing is a lot of work, a lot of mind work, a lot of body work, and a lot of little focuses of tweak this shoulder here, push here, expand there. Right? So what we're going to do is alternate exercises of maybe we do a Schroth Method exercise, and then we're going to do a strengthening, like the side stepping exercise that I showed in another video. I'll do another Schroth Method exercise, nice and slow, controlled. And then I'm going to do a balance exercise while passing a basketball to my parent or to a sibling, okay? Applying those Schroth Method principles and good posture to those more fun, more active, more high level and higher energy types of exercises, and then alternating between the Schroth exercises to make the session more fun. And then finally, we can have fun in the cues that we give our kids during the Schroth Method exercises. So whether that be 2 of my favorite cues, for example, you can make these up as you go as well, but 2 that I use is the sad puppy and stinky armpits, okay? So basically, sad puppy in a lot of our Schroth Method exercises, what we start with is what we call a posterior pelvic tilt. So with scoliosis, we have a larger lordosis or arch in the low back. And what we like to say is sad puppy. So pretend like you have a tail and you're tucking your tail. Boom, sad puppy, right? Okay, so I'm here and then sad puppy, okay? So that makes it a little bit more fun. And you say, hey, little Mikey, sad puppy. You know, cueing him during an exercise, sad puppy. All right, the second cue that I like to use is stinky armpits. In tons of the Schroth Method exercises, you have your arms like this. This is the Schroth Method arms, okay? And what I like to say is pretend like you have really stinky armpits and you need to air them out like this. Don't let them get more stinky by having them down. Don't let them get stinky by having them here. They're not going to air out down here. They're going to air out up here. So whether we're doing Schroth Method walking like this, or going up like this, or we're just doing breathing like this on our back, we don't want to have arms down. We want to have stinky armpits, air them out. Okay, so little cues, making them more kid-friendly can make the exercise more fun. Awesome. And then, as well as the cues, we can always apply this to another interest. Maybe your kid wants to improve their coordination to keep up more in gym class, right? Or improve their strength to keep up in gym class. All of these things will help with that as well. Okay, so we have making Schroth applicable to our kiddos' interests. We have making Schroth a little bit more fun. Now let's talk about reward systems, okay? Reward systems are not my favorite because at some point, reward systems stop working. But if this is what will motivate your child to do their Schroth Method exercises every day until they're done growing, you know, then it may be a good option for you. So things I've used as a reward system before is first a reward calendar. So I print out a blank calendar each month. I've given it to my patients and say, I'm going to give this to you. Mom and Dad, look over this, make sure they're not cheating. But if you do your Schroth exercises every day and you put an X through every day of the month, then at the end of the month, you come back to me, your Schroth teacher, your Schroth PT, and you're going to get a gift card for the month. And you can do this the same as being a parent, okay? So if at the end of the month, they have X's in every single day, and they've done something every day that helps with their scoliosis, then you can, you know, do like a $10 gift card. You can do, let's buy you your favorite baseball bat that you've been wanting to get, something like that. Something that I think is a little bit better than the calendar is a point system. So if your child does their exercises every single day during the week religiously, then they get a certain number of points at the end of the week for completing that. So let's say you do your exercises every day for a week, 7 days, then you get 7 points, okay? But if they only do their exercises 3 times, then they only get 3 points. And if they do anything less than 3 points, they get 0 points. Okay? And so this point system adds up. And as they keep accumulating points, you put it in their point bank. And then once you accumulate a certain number of points, which would be their goal, either you can give them some type of reward, whether that be monetary, which I don't like monetary rewards, but if that drives your kid to do this and it's going to affect them in the rest of their life, it may be worth it. Whether that be monetary, whether that be, they get to stay up late at night for the next weekend and watch a movie, something like that, like a reward. They get to go out for an ice cream social with their friends, and they get to choose 2 friends to go do the ice cream social with. Something like they get to do a summer sleepover party and invite a few of their friends for that because they accumulated, 25 points. Okay, so something like that. I really like the point system and making the reward something that is proactive, that is social, and that will, is a benefit to your child rather than giving them something tangible. Okay, so that's the reward system with points or with a calendar. And then now let's talk about having a community. And I think this is really key for your child to feel not alone in having to do these exercises every single day. Because other kids may not have to go home and do exercises every day before they go to bed. They may not have to do exercises before they go to school in the morning. But if you can find a community for your kid to relate to, then it makes it a little bit easier, and they can talk amongst each other, kids of the same age, the same gender, to make scoliosis a little bit easier and to relate to each other, saying, I did my exercises today, did you? I did my exercises this whole week. It was a win. So they could share their wins, share things that are tough, and learn from each other. So examples of communities. 𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘶 has some really good community sessions that are on Zoom that are monthly. I believe she has one through 𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘮 that's for boys and for girls, and she has different age groups as well. So younger kids, teenagers, and even adults. They're called ScoliZooms throughout the month. That would be something that would be good to join, and that would help motivate your kid to do their exercises. And then there's also an organization called Curvy Girls. If you want to look into that, if there is a Curvy Girls organization in your area where they do both Zoom get-togethers and then also in-person get-togethers with kids who have scoliosis. And then I believe also the National Scoliosis Foundation also has some sort of support and groups for kids with scoliosis. So those are your options community-wise. I'm thinking about putting together some sort of community where there would be Zoom sessions where, either, I haven't decided yet, either, kids of the same age would be doing their Schroth exercises together via Zoom, or if it would be based and grouped on curve type, and I could be of more guidance in those types of groups, but that would be a community of having a group of people to meet with every single week to hold you accountable to do your exercises and to share with and to relate to. So that's finding a community. So those are the 4 tips that I can give you in trying to motivate your children to do their Schroth exercises more. First and foremost is going to be finding their why. Okay, so dig deep, find out something that they're struggling with that you can relate their Schroth exercises to that can make them a better person and make them grow in that thing that they want to grow in and help them reach that type of goal. Number 2, try to make it fun as much as you can. Be involved as their parent. Don't just say, go do your Schroth exercises. Say, let's do our Schroth exercises together and be there for them. Participate in it with them. Number 3 is find a reward system if you need it. And number 4, which is probably one of the most important, is finding a community for your child of support to relate to and to motivate each other. Okay, so I hope that is helpful for you all in motivating your kids to do their Schroth exercises, to be invested in the Schroth method, because it's not easy, and they're not going to excel in Schroth if it's driven by their parent. They have to want to do it themselves. Awesome. So if there are any other questions, please put them in the comments below, and I will try to answer them for you. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.